Alright guys, so today is September 2nd. I'm up here just before noon and putting a couple Stealth Cam 360 cells. So we got a couple food plots here this year, about 7 acres total, between beans, corn, a summer mix that we had in place from May till about, early August, middle of August, that we tried 2 different techniques on. I'm going to show you the differences here. But I'm looking at the first one right now. We did not mow this prior. We just basically ran it over the day we planted it with the tractor and the mower. Just no mowing, no chopping, just running it down and then seeding into it. The neighbor is riding his little 4-wheeler around, so that's probably what you hear in the background. But went through that process and I noticed a significant difference between this plot and the other plot that we did. So we basically pushed everything down, seeded into it, drilled into it, I should say, and then we sprayed right after. Got a good kill, but I noticed the biggest thing here with this plot is that there's a lot of volunteer sorghum and buckwheat. So those seeds definitely started to germinate and grow again, coming off the initial plants. So not a bad thing. Just kind of take some browse pressure off of the fall blends we have in there, which are coming up. Maybe not as great as I would like, but at least there's enough tonnage here to get them to maturity, as well as till a lot of that stuff burns off here in the first couple weeks of October. So I'll walk around and show you some stuff and we'll compare it with the other side here in a minute. It looks pretty good. It's good to see all the green, all the food. There's definitely some heavy browse over there on the buckwheat by the beans. Same with the beans too, they're hit pretty hard. So I think I'm gonna put the first 360 cam over there and see how that traffic is up here. I don't have a camera up in this section, but we're gonna have one here today. So we'll see how it goes. So what I'm going to show you real quick is a clear distinction to what I was seeing here. There was exposed dirt that was already here when we pushed it all down. So there's a couple spots that are completely exposed. You can see the dirt from right here. They're doing well, but some of the stuff that we drilled into, the brassicas are having a tough time getting through a lot of this duff. I mean, that sorghum duff is pretty thick, so they're having a tough time getting through it. Some soybeans still alive. But they're not having much help getting through there. You can see that those two are having some trouble. There's some there, but you don't see anything back behind it. And it's supposed to be a clear drill line. But as you can see right here, you can see that perfect line going through. So it's our first year with that no-till drill. We're trying some different practices and it's worked. There's going to be plenty of food here, but I just want to make sure we're trying to be as efficient as possible moving forward and getting some growth, good growth along the way. And we've, we're not battling a drought like we have the past 2 years this year. It's been exceptional. So that's really helped this situation as well. But we'll take a look at the other spot, get a couple cameras up, and then I'm gonna get out of here. right, so this is a spot that I think is going to be just amazing this fall. Whether it's bow, whether it's gun, whether you're out of the blind, whether you're in a stand on the north end, I think this is just going to be a perfect spot to run into whatever you're hunting for. Does, early season buck, late season buck. I think just with the corn and greens, there's a little clover point right there. This brassica plot is booming. Corn, then beans. So we've actually got a little Heidi whole food plot in here too. Looks like it's finally starting to pop. Don't know how good that's going to be, given the fact that there's not a whole lot of sunlight getting there, but something will grow. It's got rye in it and stuff. So, but let's take a look at this food plot. So this food plot, we actually came in and mowed a couple weeks beforehand. Mowed it, came back down 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, planted that plot first, then came down here. And again, a lot of volunteer buckwheat, which I'm okay with. That's not going to last forever, but the brassicas in here look way better. A lot of that duff dried down quicker, and it looks way better when you do a side-by-side comparison. So we'll take a look here. You can see that overall tonnage and foliage is far greater than what we saw on that first half-acre plot. So, but you get down here, take a look from this angle too. It looks great. Again, got some buckwheat, but for the most part, these brassicas look really, really good. And we've got a couple spots that we missed spraying. Just some sorghum that's okay. If anything, it's a way for you to range how far each patch may be, especially from the blind or from the stand of the north. I think this is going to be a killer spot. Just being concealed a little bit further away from more human activity, but B, we've got the neighboring property that's all CRP. We've got a ton of food here on our property, and it's just a nice concealed spot for a lot of these deer to come to, whether it's early in the morning or late in the evening. I'm super excited about this. So right now I've got a Reveal cell cam out on the scrape. I'm gonna put this revolver on a vine scrape that's been there for a long time, and then I have a scrape post out there. It might be overkill. God, look how nice this looks. Just a green carpet. Love to see that. But I've got this vine scrape that looks like it's been pretty active recently. Yeah, there's some good sign showing up there. More than what I think I've had on this scrape tree. But I'm actually going to put the post between the two and then on the plot, so I'm picking up everything. I might go in a little bit further, but this 360 cam, my stealth cam, no affiliation whatsoever with them. I just thought it was going to be a great product to use. Is going to be placed probably right here, this 360 view, because I know that in the mornings I get a lot of pictures on this side of the plot, not as many right there on that scrape post, but at least I'll still pick up that picture or that direction with this cam. I want to just cover as much as I can, come up with a game plan. I do have some options and ideas in place to get either a stand set back in the timber right there or right on the edge. I'm gonna get this post on the ground, get this camera rolling, and get that Reveal cell cam moved to a different location. Let's do it. So this is one other plot that we put in the summer that is actually looking very good. You can see all the browse on some of the sunflower stuff, nipping off all the buds, which is good. They're not going to touch a lot of the sorghum, which I don't know how good it's going to be for a little while, because it was planted a little bit later. We had a tree that fell on everything and had to redo it. So love this plot. It's secluded. I got a tree on the east end that overlooks the majority of it right here. But there's a plum tree right in the middle that has a massive scrape on that side. So I wanted to find a spot that allowed me to see the majority of the plot, but also mainly that scrape on that oak right there. About where the Y is. I'm pretty far up there, I think. It's the long sticks, but I can basically see there, and I can also see into the bean field and anything behind me coming directly from the east. So I think this is going to be a killer spot. Don't get a lot of deer on camera right here, but that can change. The only other bad thing about this spot is the house is right there. Kids are always outside. Obviously deer get used to that, but I think it does have an effect no matter what. I'm gonna get that tree cleaned up. Quick. I think that's pretty much all I have left to do today. So I'm trying to button things up before, really today is kind of my last day here on this farm. I'm trying to avoid coming up here, trying to avoid a lot of this other extracurricular stuff that could potentially affect a big deer moving in. I'm gonna get these branches, shooting lanes trimmed up a little bit. I'm gonna get all my crap in my car and head out of here. And in the next, 3 weeks, we're gonna be in the stand. It's hard to believe, but Chaz has a city tag, and it's a buck tag. He killed 3 does last year, so we're gonna be chasing a pretty good buck there at his property. So I think that's gonna be a lot of fun. It kind of scratches the itch before season actually opens here in Iowa. That urban hunt is gonna be about nine days of hunting for us that we can do before everybody else can. So we're really excited. Got a great deer we're chasing, and hopefully we can bring that hunt to you sooner than later. One other thing is, I'm gonna try to be on top of getting videos out as much as possible. Not long videos, could be long, could be short, but the biggest thing I wanna do is I wanna basically start a vlog series where I'm getting every hunt up, whether they're 3 minutes, 5 minutes, or 20 minutes. Every hunt I wanna have vlogged. It's gonna be a different playlist. I let the guys know I'm doing that, so if they're interested in doing the same, I'll be spitting out as many videos as possible. Tag along. It's going to be a great year. I've got a landowner tag, got my statewide archery. Chaz has his urban buck bow tag, as well as his statewide tag. So we've got quite a few tags in our pocket, and a lot of the other guys, of course, are going to be hunting too. But we're hoping for a great year. Food looks great. The buffets are set, and hopefully a big buck moves in, and we can catch up with them, at some point during the season. So stay tuned. It's gonna be the first of many.